Hi, and welcome to Is It Worth a Sandwich Special Avengers Infinity War Edition. I am Zach Funk.
I'm Joe Kira.
And we're going to be talking to you about Infinity War. So, it is Sunday night, the weekend that the film came out. Yes, hello. Oh, now you don't want to touch me, Cat. That's
Nope.
okay. Cat Internet.
Yes.
Anyway. So, it's Sunday night, the weekend the film comes out. My girlfriend and I went on Thursday night when it first opened. Joe has not seen it yet.
No, I'm really excited about this. I tend to get a lot more excited about the smaller Marvel movies, honestly, but like the big event ones, they don't kind of seem real until like the day I'm going to go see them.
Yeah. So for now, we're going to talk about this. My experience of seeing it for the first time, with no spoilers. Joe talking speculation. And then we're going to also talk a little bit after we see it, and that part will involve spoilers. We'll give you a heads up before we get to that.
I will put up a big freaking, hey, careful, there are spoilers here. And also, sorry, the dog's chewing on a bone. That's going to be in there, but you're just going to have to deal with that.
It's a dog, it's happy.
Yes. Honestly, a little bit of audio issues shouldn't detract from our comedy goal.
That's right. We are fantastic.
Yes. All right, so my predictions for Infinity Wars. I'm not necessarily only looking at this from like, oh, well, this is going to be a business thing, but like this is a business thing. Mm-hmm. Based on that, I feel like that... first I'll start with this. I feel like they're going to kill a character kind of early on to try and, like, the stakes are raised.
Kind of an established, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem with some of these larger films and these larger franchises is, you know, you're not going to watch Captain America 1 and think, oh, Captain America might die.
Yeah. I mean, and I remember there was a weird conversation I had with one of our friends, who I won't name here because it's internet and whatnot, who said that they didn't like watching the X-Men movies because there was no stakes for Wolverine because he couldn't die. And I'm like, do you really think Indiana Jones is going to die? Do you really think Luke Skywalker's going to die?
Yeah. Now, granted,
Wolverine did get shot in the head and get back up from it the one time. Spoilers for a movie that we're not talking about.
Yeah, and R.I.P. Luke.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually realize that. That was very good. Very clever on my part, accidentally. So I feel like they're going to kill someone kind of out of the blue. I also feel like a lot of the trailer footage for this one is going to be stuff that's not necessarily going to be in the movie.
Okay, so here's a question for you then.
Yes.
If they're going to kill somebody early on, who is it?
See, this is what I've been thinking about ever since I kind of started saying this, because it's like you have to kill someone who's going to raise the stakes. Mm-hmm. But you could also just go typical horror schlock and kill one of the least interesting characters, and I feel like that would be kind of disservice. Okay. So, like, you could be like, oh, yeah, oh no, they killed Bucky, but then it would be like, oh no, they killed Bucky.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a couple of characters, obviously you can't kill, because, like, you can't kill Black Panther, because that would be, like, catastrophic, and people would be starting fires because they loved Black Panther so much.
You get this cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
People want Wakanda to be real.
Yes. And, like, the same thing where I don't think they would kill Spider-Man because he's a kid, and it's something like that, and they're kind of building a franchise off of that, too, and that's actually where it comes into. Mm-hmm. My guess is they're going to kill War Machine, because it's still stuck in some of those horrible movie tropes where you kill the black guy.
Not only that, you kill the black guy who just recently regained the ability to walk.
Yeah, now that would be tragic, and I would feel for it, but I wouldn't feel for it the same way if they killed, like, Doctor Strange or something like that. Yeah. Which I don't think they're going to kill Doctor Strange.
And on that note, one thing I will say regarding the idea of spoilers is I work retail, and sometimes you have really shitty customers.
Oh, yeah.
And so, ever since I saw the movie Thursday night, the night it opened, I have desperately wanted to threaten a shitty customer with Avengers spoilers. Like, no, that's the best price I give you in this microwave. If you ask again, I'll tell you what happens to Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I posted that online as a joke. It's a persistent cat.
That is a persistent cat. He is determined to ruin our takes.
And a friend of mine said, that's really funny, but wait, something happened to Iron Man? That's a spoiler. And I said, no. I use that as an example because I don't think threatening someone with the fate of Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy would invoke the same fear.
Yeah. The other thing I would kind of think is I feel like all the Guardians are safe just because they're kind of doing their own thing and they're going to come into the movie at the second half.
Okay.
All right. So, Infinity War. They don't just pick the names of these things randomly, and I kind of feel like war is going to actually be kind of part of this.
Okay.
Where it's going to have this feeling of sort of like, it's not just going to be Thanos showing up and beating up a bunch of people to get the thing. It's not just going to be superheroes doing that, which would also tie into a lot of the themes of like, well, do we really need all these superheroes running around? And it's like, well, here are the reason we kind of need some of these superheroes running around and doing things. That's kind of one of the themes that, at least if I was doing it, that I would want to touch on.
Now, one thing I'll mention, because usually in this case, Joe's a bit more knowledgeable one, because we tend to do video game stuff.
Yeah. You are the more knowledgeable one here by a wide margin.
Yes. So, are you familiar with there is a comic story called Infinity War?
No. I know it. I know Secret War happened after that.
Okay, so Infinity War is a story from 1991.
Okay.
Thanos was a comic book villain before that, but this was really the thing that made Thanos a big name.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Thanos goes to get the gems.
Yeah.
To wipe out half the life in everything.
Yes, and he did that to impress Death.
Yeah. And so this film is essentially the story of that.
Yes.
Now, spoiler, non-spoiler, he's not doing this to impress Death.
No. Can't be a pet part for me, and Lex is upstairs streaming.
Yeah. So that's part of it. So that's really where the title comes from.
Yeah.
And they're pulling some other things too. They're pulling
that's also something I kind of like about all the Marvel movies right now is they're taking the best bits from the comic books, reworking them, twisting them around, and kind of doing their own weird sort of thing.
Yeah, for example, you may have seen in the trailers, Thanos has like his top henchmen people.
Yeah.
Those are from a story from only a few years ago called Infinity.
Okay.
Which involved Thanos finding out he had a son he didn't know existed.
Okay.
And people fighting over the fate of Thanos' kid, because it's Thanos' kid.
Yeah, that would be very deadly.
And then he still wants to get the gems because he's Thanos, and he is like Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
There are gems or emeralds that must always be claimed.
Yes. Now here's my big question, and this would be kind of the thing that, spoiler, whatever, because I did read a thing about Infinity. This was before the movie came out in the original Infinity Wars or whatever.
Yes.
Where then he creates a female duplicate of himself to make Lady Death jealous. I do not think that will be included in this movie.
It definitely will not, because the Lady Death aspect is not a thing.
Well, yes, but it would also be really funny if he was doing all of this to kill half of reality so he could make a female version of himself.
That is really good. I don't remember that, because I haven't read the original Infinity War story. I hadn't heard that before. I really hope it's true.
Yes, I will try and find images to overlay over us.
Because that's the fun thing that's really neat with comics sometimes is you'll have these weird stories that later writers say weren't true. Like, before Squirrel Girl was her own big thing and was strictly just a joke character.
Yeah.
They did a story where Squirrel Girl beat up Thanos, and Thanos actually had a thing called the Thanos Copter.
Yeah.
He went around it. It was a helicopter. It was a Thanos-themed helicopter, and he's an intergalactic space god, but he has a helicopter.
Well, yeah, if I was an intergalactic space god, I would want my own helicopter.
Yeah.
I would also want my own motorcycle with my face on it.
Yeah. And so a later writer was like, no, that was a clone of Thanos who sucked. That wasn't the real Thanos.
Well, that's something I also love about the comic book movies comic books in general, and what I really... they're kind of doing with these things is you're taking all of these different genres and characters and just bashing them together and seeing what interesting things happen with that.
Yes.
And like the old Thor stuff kind of worked with that. It was funny, but then Thor was kind of like the joke thing. But like after Ragnarok, Thor is a different character. Thor is now a self-actualized character who has gone through the thing and emerges the other side a freaking god.
Yeah.
Like, he used to be the god of thunder, whatever. Now he is the god of thunder. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be a more formidable character in this one, where I would say in previous Marvel movies, if it was going to be like, well, who's going to be a big fight 'em up, who's going to win, you'd probably say it's like, oh, well, Iron Man probably, because he's the protagonist, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, even Iron Man and Thor fought in the one, and it was weird. But now it's definitively who's the most powerful Marvel hero. Well, it's Thor. It's Thor by a wide margin.
Yeah.
He's just, like, arcing lightning at people. He beat the Hulk and had to be put down.
Yeah. So, here's a question.
Yes.
And I'm asking this specifically with the interest of calling back to this later when we do our post-movie thing.
Oh, of course, yeah, you plant seeds.
Yes. Your top 3 characters you think are in the most danger of dying, and your top 3 characters you believe the most safe.
Okay, most in danger of dying. Okay, I'm going to do this strictly from the point of view of this is Marvel, and they're willing to blow up their own universe to make a really good movie.
Okay.
If we're going by that one, I would say the most in danger characters. I'm going to stick with War Machine.
Okay.
No. If I'm going with they're going to blow up their own universe, I'm going with Tony Stark.
Okay, so Tony Stark was your number 1 most in danger?
Tony Stark is my number 1 most in danger.
Okay.
Doctor Strange is my number 2.
Okay.
Number 3. Vision.
Okay.
He doesn't have his own separate thing. He has an Infinity Stone in his head. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to die. Excuse me, I need a little bit of liquid.
Of course.
But that would be taking away a lot of who Vision is, getting rid of the stone out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
My 3 safest, I'm going to still stick with Peter Parker.
Okay.
Because, like, you're not going to kill a kid. And there's just... It's Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man makes it through this just so that he can, well, one, make some wisecrack remarks, but then also be really affected by it afterwards.
Okay.
Because that's interesting whenever it's... Because, like, War Machine and Iron Man, they've all seen this sort of thing, and I kind of feel like Peter Parker's going to be our audience insert character, for lack of a better term.
Well, especially in the case, like, Iron Man has PTSD.
Yeah.
Rhodey is in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Peter's just a high school kid.
Yeah, so my other safe characters, I would say Black Panther.
Okay.
One, because he's Black Panther and is shown to be extremely capable, a little bit of plot armor around him, but also just he is surrounded by incredibly capable people. Other characters I think are safe, so it's Black Panther.
Spider-Man, you have one more for your top 3 you believe will come out of this alive.
I'm going to go with Black Widow, because I really want them to make a Black Widow movie that's basically James Bond, except the character is female and, like, attractive to a male gaze.
Those already exist, though.
Oh, yes, but it's not with Scarlett Johansson being Black Widow. Yeah. At some point, I will do a video that's my pitch for what I want to see as a Black Widow movie.
And then I'll pop my head and say, yes, that film was just out. It was called Sparrow, or it was called Red, or it was called...
Okay, screw it. We're just going to do it now, because it's short. My pitch for a Black Widow movie involves that it's like, okay, well, we're going to send in this operative to do it. We're going to pace it like a James Bond movie, and it's just going to be like, all right, so we're going to have to do some intel and some figuring out, is this guy magic? Is he a mutant? Mm-hmm. Is this guy... just have a lot of technology. We have to figure out what he is first so we can best figure out our way of defeating him. Mm-hmm. Is this dude an alien? He might just be an alien. Basically that scene from Venture Brothers where they've got everyone in the round room and it's like they're trying to figure out who Zeus is.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what if it is Zeus just pissed off that no one believes in Zeus anymore?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, that is the movie, and it's just like them a spy thriller with wildly supernatural elements and trying to figure out, and it turns out it's a vampire the whole time.
Okay, I can see
and then she ends up beating up Blade.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, they should let me make these movies. No, they shouldn't. They'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why they should let you make them.
All right, so those are my 3 predictions, is that I think Black Widow, Black Panther, and Spider-Man are safe. I would throw Thor into that, too.
Okay.
Just because, like, they're doing way too much interesting with Thor. Mm-hmm. I'm throwing him in as my cynical choice of, like, Thor is just too interesting right now to kill.
Okay.
After his movie. All right, what's next?
Let's see here. That was the main question, really.
Yes.
Because I just wanted to call back to that later because
I could be very wrong.
Yes. And I am doing my best to remain emotionless to his reactions.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would just say I think it's amazing that we're getting this film.
That is really true. Like, if you had told college-age us that they were going to do a Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would not have believed you.
Yeah, or that it would be this good. That it would, as of earlier today, it beat Star Wars Force Awakens.
Wow, that is impressive.
For biggest opening weekend.
Okay, people like to quote biggest opening weekend. Do you know what held biggest opening weekend for, like, a while?
What?
Mortal Kombat 2. That is a garbage movie.
It is, but still.
Yes.
Oh, claymation ending fight.
Yes. That's actually my prediction, claymation ending fight.
Claymation ending fight.
All right, at this point, there's going to be spoilers galore. So, yeah, stop watching if you haven't seen the movie, unless you don't really care. But then why are you watching this video? Whew. All right, so we're recording.
All right, yeah, so it's almost 1 a.m. because we went to a 10 o'clock showing. So, spoilers from here on out. Wolverine saved the day.
Yes. So I feel like, again, before my predictions for what Infinity War was going to be, I think Luke Skywalker says it best.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
The best reaction I had the first time seeing it was just, I've never seen a crowd react to a movie like that before. There were people like, and like weeping and...
Yeah, it felt like I got kicked in the balls.
My girlfriend had the best response that I could think of, which was she said it felt like election night.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Because you expect the good guys to win,
and yeah, they just the. Thanos, hi Vivi. Thanos definitively won and got what he wanted. I mean, it cost him his daughter, but like, it was probably going to cost him his daughter anyway. There was a 50-50 shot of that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, you know, when you read the comics and you know that like they've already announced Spider-Man 2 and things like that, you know, it is always harder to have that total loss of the word that I can't find right now, but the loss of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, there you go.
That these characters are going to stay dead. But even then, let's say, you know, they undo the deaths Thanos caused.
It's not going to be like all of them.
Yeah, because like Gamora died differently.
Yeah, like she might just be dead, and. Now, we don't know.
Yeah, now sometimes the Soul Stone can actually take souls too, so her soul might be in the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
But that's all comic booky stuff, and that doesn't necessarily apply here.
Yeah, basically this is the ballsiest thing I've ever... This is the ballsiest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And this takes it into entirely uncharted territory.
Yeah, and I just can't wait to see what happens next. Just like knowing that unless it takes place before this, Ant-Man and Wasp is going to take place in a world where half the people just died.
Yeah, and the craziest, awful part of that is, like, we as an audience know and understand why that happened.
Mm-hmm.
No one else does.
Yeah.
Unless, like, Thor tells them, and then everyone's going to hate the superheroes who didn't save the world.
Yeah. Now, one thing, Joe, you had mentioned about Thanos getting cut.
Yes. Okay. So there were a bunch of like just points in this movie where I thought something was going to happen. Like I really thought Doctor Strange was going to time fuckery something and do something like that to Thanos and just make him a baby again or something like that. Which, okay, goofy Mortal Kombat babality sort of thing. But like there was a point where Iron Man cut. Thanos, and I thought this was the plan, and that it was going to be like, oh, nanotechnology, everything like that. I thought he was just going to like pump that guy full of nanites and make him explode or something.
And my immediate thought when I saw it for the second time, was Thanos just reacted like Nelson Muntz and had the, you made me bleed my own blood.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a great moment, and the way everything got highlighted, some of the team-ups, like if you would have said seeing Thor and Rocket team up would be amazing.
Yeah, like, it was fun, and there were great points of levity throughout the film, which it desperately needed, because it was some dark subject matter, and I was a little disappointed. I mean, like, I get that the end credit sequence, it would have undermined everything if we had had a moment of levity there. Mm-hmm. And I was really, in that moment, I was hoping for that moment of levity. Mm-hmm. And we just didn't get it. And Zach will attest to this. I shook my fist at the screen and screamed, "Fuck you!"
Yeah, when
it said Thanos will return.
Yeah, I thought that was beautiful. Like, I knew that was kind of like, no, you have to stay for this. You have to stay for this.
And just like, again, we went to a late showing on a Sunday night, and like I looked around, I was like, okay, good, there's no children in here. I can scream "fuck you" at the screen.
Yeah.
I try not to swear a lot.
I love the tease of Captain Marvel coming in, because, well, it's not levity, it is hope.
Yeah, that's true. Unless Captain Marvel just got unmade.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50 shot on that.
Yeah, I guess so.
But just, Thanos was intimidating, and in a way that I didn't think he was going to be intimidating. Like, a lot of jokes have been made about, like, I'm the big, bad, scary thing that's going to do this, and, like, I think about the Rick and Morty World Ender episode.
Yeah.
And they actually pulled it off. They made him terrifying, and, like, he was a force of nature. He wasn't an individual.
Yeah, I understand why the Black Order, his top henchmen, mm-hmm. were just glorified jobbers. Jobbers being the guys in wrestling who lose all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you needed that because you needed the heroes to win at certain points.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen them do a bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe not have all of them get dispatched in one film.
But you know what?
It worked. It all made sense.
Yeah.
Joe, if you were Thanos, how would you have handled things?
Jesus. Well, I would have just made myself a girlfriend, like, the thing. I don't think that's going to happen in this one.
And I would have had to kill Half-Life in the universe by maybe, like, ham-boning, because I never got snapping down.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, see, I can't... It doesn't
I still
work.
Yeah, I still...
So I can't wipe out half the life, because...
Well, and again...
I just love the idea of yes, and now I will destroy half a life in the universe.
Well, it just... Like, part of me was like, cut his arm off, just cut his arm off. But it took so much to make him freaking bleed, so that might not have
and even like that shot, because you had mentioned earlier about Thor being the most powerful one.
Yeah.
Now, did you think Thor actually was going to stop him in there?
I didn't know. Like, there was just that bit of hope, but like, that this movie was very good about like giving you that little bit of hope and then just snuffing it out.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, there's still some of the Avengers left. Mm-hmm. And it's really important that it's Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like those are the ones that could actually, like, do this. But, like, it really does feel like this is the first time where it's going to be... that the Avengers are going to live up to their name mm-hmm. of now they avenge.
Well, it's interesting, too, because if you look at it... All the ones from the first Avengers movie survived.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of just neat and thematic. I did get teary-eyed when Peter went.
Yeah,
the first time and a bit the second time.
That was rough.
That was perfect. They did that so well. Really, it's like. I'm going to just toss this in as a thought before I go because I have to work in 6 hours. Make good life choices, kids. My girlfriend and I recently rented Justice League.
Yeah.
We turned it off halfway through.
Yeah.
This just makes me more upset at DC again, because one of the things that DC kept doing is Marvel's lighter and happy, and we're going to be dark and gritty.
And just Marvel just freaking owned that this time.
Because the biggest thing, Marvel is not afraid to be a comic book movie.
Yeah.
They're just gonna say, yeah, here's the talking raccoon with the Thunder God, with this. It's gonna have all these things, and either you're in or you're not.
Yeah. And I don't know, DC is almost better at that at times in the comic book, of having all these weird, disparate things come together for really interesting stories. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite stories is Green Arrow and Green Lantern, the Hard Traveling Heroes, and that is two very different genres coming together to make something wonderful. Mm-hmm. And that's what this feels like, and that is what DC can't do, because everything has to be grim and everyone has to be Batman.
Yeah.
And just Marvel is letting its heroes be its heroes. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we need right now. All right, well, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for checking this out. Obviously, if you're watching us now, you've seen the movie.
I hope, or just like, why did you watch it? Why did you let us spoil it?
So, like, share, comment. We'll try to respond to things. And yeah, we should do another one of these for Ant-Man and Wasp. I really enjoyed doing this.
Well, I'm looking forward to a solo, immensely.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of the Marvel stuff. We can do it for any movie.
Yes, that's true.
But Marvel.
I wanted a good joke to go out on here.